It's mango season. Mango season is usually from the end of April till late June. That's when here in New York and in Toronto we get mangoes in all the grocery stores. And I have been enjoying mangoes all season long. There are affordable mangoes, which are at the grocery store, and then there are luxury mangoes. This is in my sort of category of mango purchasing. The luxury mangoes are the mangoes that come directly from India, like not Central American mangoes, but Indian mangoes. I have found there's a huge difference. There's a huge difference in taste, in smell, and in price. So sometimes I splurge and I buy these. They're called Kesar mangoes. These are the Indian mangoes, and these are the mangoes that are from Mexico. But these are also two different varieties of mangoes. So these mangoes like this grow in India, mangoes like this grow in Mexico. The difference in mango is not differentiated just by where they're from. These are two separate varieties. Today, I'm going to show you how to make one of my favorite warm weather drinks, a mango lassi. This is something that's a classic on the menus of Indian restaurants. It really is a wonderful accompaniment to hot, spicy food because it has milk in it, which cools down heat. But the sweetness also works really well with the spice. So I'm going to show you how to make a mango lassi today. I'm also going to show you how to peel and cut a mango. So there are generally two sort of broad varieties of mangoes. There are fibrous mangoes, mangoes that have like long hairs, and there are sort of low fibrous mangoes. So mangoes that are more pasty and not as sort of hairy with those long strands in the flesh. And these are the very fibrous mangoes. These are the ones that are less fibrous. The ideal mango to use for a mango lassi is a mango like this, which is not so fibrous. A common variety is called an atulfo mango. Generally, they're flatter, yellower, and smaller than these mangoes that are more green, red, and yellow together. These are just sort of green and yellow or just pure yellow. So we're going to use these today. There are many different ways to cut open a mango, to extract the flesh from a mango. It's like an avocado. Everybody has their way of doing it. Some people are unfamiliar with certain ways. I'm going to show you how I like to cut open a mango. The first thing is to assess whether it's ripe or not. One of the ways of really testing this is by just feeling it. And if the flesh can be pressed and it feels like it's soft, that's generally a sign that it's ripe. If it's really sort of very soft, it means it's fully ripe. And if it feels like there's liquid underneath the skin, then it usually means like it's gone off. It's past the state of being ripe in a good way. Some varieties you can also smell. You smell them, and if you get a scent of sweetness, then that's an indication that the mango is ready to be eaten. So I'm going to show you how I take the flesh out of a mango. This is how my mom did it. You want to, especially if the mangoes are ripe and ready to be eaten, you don't want to waste a lot of the flesh. So you want to take off just the skin. You can use a knife for this, but I like to use a peeler, and I have two different types of peelers that I use. This is just a straight edged peeler, but then I also have a peeler that has a serrated edge. And sometimes if the mango is very ripe, it's too soft to use this peeler. Like you'll go to start to peel and it will just start mushing up the skin instead of taking it off. In which case I would use this serrated peeler, and it takes off the flesh nicely, but it takes off more flesh. So I'm going to start with this. Let's see if this works. Yeah. So I can tell that this mango is not fully ripe. It should be a deeper yellow verging on orange, but I've started already. Of the mangoes that I have in the basket, this was the ripest. So ideally, I would have left this for a couple more days to ripen. But you can see here that it's taking off just the skin, Whereas, let me just show you what happens with this one. This takes off much more flesh. So there's a lot more wastage with that. And you can also just use a knife. Like this. Unless your knife is very sharp and you're very skilled with a knife, this even takes off more flesh. So this is my way of peeling a mango. Some people cut parts of the mango off with the skin on it and then turn it inside out. And then sort of, there's all these fancy ways of cutting up the mango flesh, but this is my way of doing it. Okay? And at home, when I was a kid, when I was growing up, my mom would peel the mango like this, and then she would give it to me like this, with a bowl. And it would be kind of messy, especially if it was very ripe, but we would just bite into this and start eating towards the pit, because there's a big pit in this mango. And on these fibrous mangoes, if you want to extract every little bit of flesh, you really need to just bite into it. And it gets pretty messy, but it's very delicious. It's a wonderful, sort of sensual way of eating a mango. Fun fact, we had a little dog growing up, a little Shih Tzu, and she loved mangoes. And we would, when my mom would cut mangoes, she would smell the mangoes and run into the kitchen. And we just fell into the practice of holding the seed, and she would like chew the flesh off of the seed and walk herself back with the long fibrous mangoes. It was the funniest thing, but she enjoyed that to no end, and we did that for years. We gave Misha mangoes. So once you cut the mango, there's a flatter side and there's a shallow side. So this is the shallow side and this is the broader side. Face the broader side up and then cut down, and you will hit the pit. Okay. And then very carefully cut the flesh off like this. Okay, so there's the pit right there. And the pit is flat. And the pit is in the shape of this mango, which also happens to be the shape of the island of Sri Lanka. It's shaped like a tear, or they also liken it to the shape of a mango. So here's the pit in here. If you want to go further, you can cut this off here. There's 2 more bits. So this mango, I don't know if you hear that? That sort of serrated sound is the knife going through all of those long fibers, those continuous long fibers. Fibrous mango. So that's this fibrous mango. Now I'm going to cut up the mango that's not so fibrous. So this is the Kesar mango. And the Kesar mango is pretty ripe. Let's see if it works with this peeler. See this peeler? It's not going in. I'm pressing and it's not sharp enough to actually cut that soft flesh. So now I'm going to use the serrated peeler. This might not even work. And this is that beautiful Indian mango. Look at the color of the flesh. These mangoes are so juicy and so, wow, it smells like perfume. It's like stunning, the smell. It's like something out of a fragrance bottle. So you just have to smell this. So when I was in Sri Lanka with my uncle, it was mango season, and on the roadsides there would be these beautiful, just these temporary little thatched huts that would be set up on these rural roads where people would be selling mangoes, all kinds of varieties of mangoes. Like, I think I tried over 12 or 15 types of mangoes. Some were really small, some were very big, some were green, some were yellow, like just a huge variety. And some of them, my uncle said, they were so small, they were like an apricot size. You just pop them in your mouth and you eat the skin and everything and spit out the pit. And I tell you, those mangoes were like eating candy. You know those sour peach candies that come in the packet? Those fuzzy peach candies? Some of those mangoes tasted like that candy. Incredible. Okay, so as you can see, this mango is ripe, and look at how juicy it is. It's a beautiful mango. I'm going to cut this up the same way. This mango is more the shape of Sri Lanka. Okay. Be very careful when you're doing this, because the knife can slip and cut this part of your hand. So just a word of caution. There. Okay. Cut this off. This off. And this is what we would not throw away, but we would eat. And this is really the best place to do it, because it's pretty messy. You don't want to do this in public. You don't want to do this when there are people around, but you do this. You just bite down to the pit and extract the flesh. And it's so good. So I'm just going to wash my hands now. So making a mango lassi is pretty simple. It just requires a few ingredients: mango, sugar, and then a dairy product. So the traditional way of making a mango lassi is to use yogurt and a bit of milk. But the way that I like to do it is to eliminate the yogurt and the milk and to use kefir. Kefir? I never know how to pronounce that word. You know what I'm talking about. Fermented milk drink that's very good for you. So that's what I use. And I just do it all in a measuring cup. I put in my mango flesh. I add some sugar. Now this part you do to taste. So you can make it as sweet or as not sweet as you want, and really taste the mango, because if the mango is very sweet, you don't need as much sugar. And then the last ingredient that's essential, there's a hint of something in a mango lassi that's more than just the mango, and that other flavor is cardamom. So there's a tiny bit of ground cardamom powder, like just a pinch. That's all I'm putting in here. You don't want it to overwhelm the taste of the mango, but it's that cardamom flavor that highlights the mango flavor, and it goes really well with the tartness of the yogurt that would be going in this. So I'm going to get my kefir, shake it up. This is organic kefir, plain unsweetened. That's important. Don't use the sweetened kind. And you just add as much as you want for a consistency that you like. If you want it really thick, don't add as much of that. You can also put ice cubes in this if you want. That's something that some restaurants do. They add ice cubes and put it in a blender, and then it makes more of an icy drink. I don't like adding ice cubes first, because my blender won't handle liquidizing ice cubes or like really grinding them down properly. Secondly, it starts to melt and it tastes more watery to me with the ice cubes, so I don't put the ice cubes in. Look at the color of that. It's just so pretty. There. Okay, let's give it a taste. You do need a straw for a mango lassi. There we have it. You can see the consistency. Don't overblend. You can overblend it. You want to blend it just until everything's dissolved. If you keep going, it can turn it slimy. So you want to avoid that. Wow, it's divine. There's a tartness to it. There's this like, you taste the sweetness, you taste a bit of the cardamom, but then there's also like a wonderful sourness that is classic in these warm climates. In South India especially, well, all over India, there are drinks made with yogurt that cool you down. And it's something about that tartness that really helps to tackle the heat. That is delicious. Delicious, refreshing during mango season. Go out there, try different mangoes, buy them from different sources, because sometimes they're better in one place than another. Bring them home, eat them just like this, cut them up and eat them, or make them into a mango lassi. Simple and delicious. Enjoy.